One of the number one reasons why women struggle with dating and relationships today is that they choose men who are not ready for anything real. Ladies, there are lots of great relationship-ready men out here. However, you need to learn how to choose them. I wrote this book to teach you how to do just that. Get your copy of Choose Well, a simple formula to determine the best man for you on Amazon today.
Morning. All right, let me see if anybody's up. I am headed into the office early this Saturday morning, but I just wanted to give you something for you to think about. This is for the ladies, and this is for my critical thinking ladies. Okay, so not for the folks who need to have everything spelled out, who need to be spoon-fed everything. This is for my ladies who want to critically think about some of the things I'm about to share with you. So, we are living in a time where people are not critically thinking about anything. They are cognitively lazy. That's what I'm going to use that phrase. They are cognitively lazy. They are not well read. They do not research things for themselves on their own. They are getting the bulk of their information from the internet or from TikTok videos or Instagram reels instead of actually looking at the clinical data or the scientific data. You know, most people don't do that. I would say 95% of people don't do that. They accept whatever they hear online as the truth. And because of that, they are unlearned about things of a scientific nature. And they're willing to take people's opinions as, yeah, that's what it is. Like, that's what it is. A person shares their opinion online and you believe that that's true, right? That's true, that's facts, that's what it is. Instead of diving deeper, instead of actually diving deeper into this subject. So here's an example. For thousands of years, there's such a thing as evolutionary biology, evolutionary psychology. And so for thousands of years, there have been ways in which people, men and women, have been born and bred to react and to be to their environment in the world. And we think that because in the last 25 years, maybe 50 years, let's go back 50 years, that now we want to change the social construct, or we want to change things. We want to say, women and men are the same, and a woman can do anything a man can do, which we know is biologically false. That's incorrect. A woman cannot do anything a man can do. A man cannot do anything a woman can do. That's biologically incorrect. But, you want to believe these opinions. You want to take them as fact, and you want to spout them out into the world that, yeah, a woman can do anything a man can do. A man can do anything a woman can do. No, that's a biological incorrectness, okay? But we want to say in the last 50 years, okay, I know this is how it's been for thousands of years, but we want to change that. We want to start saying that it's different, and so therefore we're going to make it different because we say so, because we don't like how it's been, or we don't want it to be that way, and so now we're going to say it's something different. And we're going to say it's something different over and over and over and over again, and that is going to make it different. The fact that a bunch of people are saying it, a bunch of people are writing it, a bunch of people are going online and saying that, yeah, it's different now, right? That's somehow going to make it different. Let me give you an example. Deep down inside of every woman, deep down, it may be even subconscious to you, meaning you're not even fully aware that this is happening. But I believe this is in God's great infinite wisdom. I believe that he put this inside of every woman, just like he put something different inside of every man. But deep down inside of you is not just a want, but a need for a man. A need for masculine energy. Okay? That is deep down, biologically wired inside of a woman. So even from an evolutionary perspective, women sought out men for their strength, for their resources, for their courage. They sought out men for food, for shelter. They needed men. That was an evolutionary and biological need. That women, on their own, in their vulnerability, in their weakness, would not survive the way men would. Now, that does not mean, because a lot of y'all are jumping straight to the conclusion of, so women are weaker, women are less than. No, women have a psychological advantage over men. Women have the animus, which is the male counterpart, the masculine energy is inside. That's inside of every woman. She is the anima on the outside and the animus on the inside. So she has strength, but her strength is inner strength, not physical strength. And men, it is flipped, right? The animus is on the outside and the anima is on the inside. So men have feelings, deep feelings, deeper than women. Men have a lot of feelings, and they are sensitive creatures deep down on the inside, more so than women. That's why men, heartbreak affects men totally different than it affects women. Women can go through heartache after heartache after heartache. They can bounce back. They can marry again. They can move on. But men, they are sensitive creatures, okay? They take heartache real hard. So that's designed, I know, I'm not even going to say I believe, I know that's inside of every woman. And if I'm being honest, that's the reason why a lot of you all can't leave men alone. And it's like the Bible said, when God cursed Adam and Eve for eating from the tree, I'm going to see if I can bring up the scripture real quick. He said in the Bible, like, you don't have to even be a believer to know this, but he said in the Bible that the woman would have birth pains, but she would also want her husband. Like she would have a strong desire for her husband. Okay, let me find it. I will surely multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be contrary to your husband, but he shall rule over you. Okay? So that's why a lot of y'all, I'm not talking about the outliers. I'm not talking about the minority. The minority of you all who can turn away from a man and never look back, that's a small percentage. The majority of you all will always want a man. There will always be a man-sized hole in your heart. You'll always want and need a man. Because see, here's the thing. That evolutionary, that brain of yours, right? That need from thousands of years. This is how women have been programmed. You think you're going to turn it off in 50 years. You think that just like that, you're going to say, yep, we don't need men. I can go out. I can make money. I can buy a gun and protect myself. I can do this. I can do that. And yet you still on Tyrone's phone. Like you still talking to Jonathan. You still responding to David's text. Like, that's what I think is wow. You cannot leave Eric alone. You got to look at his text. You got to answer his text. You got to respond to his text with a whole lot of words. Because I need you to understand something that is deep down subconsciously in you to want this man, to want his love, to want his safety and security, to want his validation and affirmation. That's why you dress the way you do. That's why you put on the things you put on, so you can get the male gaze. And y'all lie to yourself. You out here on these streets lying to yourself, talking about, I dress for me. I wear this for me. I do this for me. Who you think you fooling? When you go out half naked, knowing good and well whose head that's going to turn. Because again, even if a woman is gay, that's the minority, right? Most women are not. Most women are not gay. I'm not looking at women like that. I'm not gazing upon women's naked body other than to be like, really? But it's having actually the opposite effect on me. Women who are going out half naked, it don't make me want to affirm them. It don't make me want to go, yeah, girl, go it. No, quite the opposite. So if you're doing it for me, you're going to get the opposite result of what you hoping to get. No, you doing it for the male gaze. And a lot of you all, you can't be honest with yourself. You can't be truly honest with yourself and admit that deep down, there's something inside of me that wants and needs a man. I just can't really sleep well at night. I just can't really be fully content. I can't be fully happy without one. Because let's keep it real. If all the men on the planet, if every male species died off tomorrow, y'all would be ripping each other apart. Total imbalance. Why do you think it is? And this isn't a cut, this is a clinical fact. Why do you think it is that the highest rate of domestic violence is between same-sex female relationships? Why do you think it is divorce rates are the highest in same-sex female relationships? There is no balance there. And women are higher in trait neuroticism, meaning we are sensitive to negative emotion. We do not handle negative emotions well. And if you got two of those creatures living in the same space, that's not a good thing. So you keep saying you don't want or need a man, but here's the interesting thing. You have standards for a man. Make that make sense. I don't want a man. I don't need a man. Well, he better be 6'2". He better make $250,000 a year. He better be this. He better be that. Like, huh? Make that make sense. You don't want or need a man, but you have a standard for one. You have a blueprint in your head of how that man is supposed to show up. So it's all this conflicting information, all of these conflicting ideas. And the truth is, it's simply conflicting with your nature. You keep trying to combat and come against your nature. Your very nature is for the man. And this is a study that I would personally love to see. Like, I'm truly curious about this. Again, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being curious. I would love to see how many lesbians, what percentage of lesbians were in heterosexual relationships. They didn't start off as lesbian. They were in heterosexual relationships and later came out as lesbian. I would really be curious about that. What is the percentage of lesbians who are currently lesbians now, but they started in heterosexual relationships? Let me tell you what I'm seeing with my eyes here in Richmond. I am seeing a lot of lesbians with children. I'm seeing a lot of lesbians who were previously married. I'm seeing a lot of lesbians who were previously in relationships with men. But again, I don't have a clinical study. I don't have data. So that is my opinion. So it's just interesting to me that we wanted to jump on this bandwagon And the bandwagon was not to bring women beside men. The bandwagon was bring women beside men to crush them, like to get them back to the years of oppression, to, push them down, right? It wasn't to say, okay, men are here and let's be here. It was like, that's what y'all did. And then when you were somewhat successful at doing that, you were like, yeah, it was like the victory lap, right? Yeah, yeah. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. But that man-sized hole, that desire to to be with a man and partner with a man, that desire to have a child, that desire to be a part of a family and to be a wife. Uh-oh, how am I going to meet that? Where I can't find no men. I can't find no good men. I can't find no educated men. I can't find no smart men. I can't find no ambitious men. And that's the conundrum that you all find yourselves in. But we have to take accountability. We have to take responsibility that we played a big part. We played a huge part in this thing turning out the way it did. And maybe, just maybe, it wasn't your intention to push men down while you climbed up. And let me just say this. I think the men have a responsibility. They should have never allowed themselves to be pushed down. I say that to men all the time. That's just like a man going to his wife and saying, let me lead. What? You don't need her permission. I tell my male clients that all the time. Why are we acting like we need her permission for you to be a man? That's craziness. No, you don't. That's just who you are. That's who you show up, and either she fall in line or she don't. Okay? I don't need a man to be a woman. I'm going to be a woman. And look, if I'm with an unsafe man, if I'm with a man who is not masculine, if I'm with a man who doesn't know how to properly contain me, I leave him alone. I find another man. Okay? That's it. I find another man. I don't be with him and mother him and tell him what to do and micromanage him. No, I leave him alone. That's what y'all need to do. But you find yourself, oh, I'm going to bend my standards and I haven't been with anybody in a while. And that's why you find yourself, baby, I'm just going to be on my own and my femininity. Okay. I'm going to be on my own living in my feminine world. Okay. Until I find a masculine man to share it with. That's it. But we have to take responsibility for where we find ourselves. And some of y'all should be ashamed. Because some of y'all talk about men like a dog. Y'all talk about men like a dog. And you have the audacity to have a father, brothers, uncles, grandfather, sons. You don't think your son is listening to you and your girlfriends cackle about men and about the state of men and the trash men? Baby, you just perpetuating a great big cycle. No, I love men. I was raised by men. And can I be honest? 98% of the men I know are good men. They're good men. But because I have that mindset, I keep attracting good men. Like women, they be telling me some horror stories. And I think, why are you always, attracting these violent, crazy, cheating dudes and dudes using money? And I kid y'all not, I can't make this up. I don't attract men asking me for money. I don't attract men that are unemployed. I don't attract men that drive my car all day while I'm at work. I don't attract men that are violent and aggressive. And no, I peep that early. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'm good. I'm all right. Because I was raised by men. I know how to spot a bad man. Okay? I've been caught up a couple times, but after that, I was like, okay, Anita, now you just going against the good teaching that you got. Let's not act like your daddy ain't kick you the game. Let's not act like your uncles ain't tell you the game. You just going against what they told you. Once I started listening and doing what they told me, I only had good men come in my life. So, ladies, check yourself. Check yourself. And like I said, some of this is science. Y'all want to refute science. You want to refute biology. That's just like, Cheyenne Bryant being on this podcast talking about 42. She go, what? Huh? Spiritualizing. Oh, well, if God said it's so, it's so. There is such a thing as biology. And you ain't going to be no 45-year-old, 50-year-old first-time mother. You will be the exception to the rule, but most women will not. You will not have your first child at 45 easily. And if she get pregnant, I want her to be honest and let people know if she used science. Now that's when y'all love some science. You love some science when it come to IVF. You love some science when it coming to have some kids later in life. But you refuse to think about the biology of, I might want to do this sooner. I might want to do this earlier. I have more eggs in my 20s than I do in my 40s. That's some science too. So, but stop. We have to stop being delusional. It's not a good look. And now that men are waking up, they don't want that. They don't want a delusional woman living in a fantasy. Yeah, I'm going to have my first kid at 45. Like, what? It looks bad. It looks childish. You're a grown woman. And all my options, I just have so many options as I get older. Like, this isn't a cut. This isn't a cut. This isn't to make you feel bad. But at some point, we have to live in the real world and act like it. And if I have, thousands of sex partners, that doesn't matter. I am still, like, come on. Come on. Stop it. Wake up. Wake up and grow up. Okay? But God created you to want and need men. That's why you can't leave them alone. Like I said, my female clients come in here and I go, okay, girl, cut him off. He's a dog. He's horrible. Okay, cut him off. We're done. Next session. He texted and then I texted back. Let me read you the text. I'm like, oh my God. You cannot leave this bad, no good man alone. That proves that Mother Nature 1 and you 0. Anyway, I gotta go. I got a client. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you all. Consider becoming a member of the YouTube channel or even subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you all. Have a great rest of the day. And as always, stay open to love.